Hi everyone. I'm really glad you're here today. Before we practice a single sentence, I want to ask you something. How long have you been learning English? 1 year? 3 years? 5 years? Maybe even longer. Now here's another question. If someone suddenly walked up to you and asked, "Excuse me, can you help me?" Would you answer immediately? Or would your mind suddenly go completely blank? If you've experienced that before, you're not alone. Millions of English learners face the exact same problem every single day. And here's the surprising part. The problem isn't your grammar. It isn't your vocabulary. And it definitely isn't your intelligence. The real problem is much simpler. You've spent years studying English, but very little time actually speaking it. Think about someone learning to drive. They can read every driving manual, watch hundreds of driving videos, memorize every traffic rule. But until they actually sit behind the steering wheel, they'll never become a confident driver. English works exactly the same way. Reading helps, listening helps, grammar helps. But speaking is the skill that creates fluency. Today, that's exactly what we're going to practice. Not perfect English, real English, the kind people actually use every day. By the end of this session, I don't want you to know more English. I want you to feel more comfortable speaking English, because confidence always comes before fluency. Here's something interesting. A few months ago, I met someone at an international conference. He understood almost everything people were saying. His grammar was excellent. His vocabulary was impressive. Then during lunch, someone smiled and asked, "So, what do you usually do on weekends?" It was such a simple question, but he froze. For almost 10 seconds, he didn't say a word. Later, he told me something I'll never forget. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but I couldn't make the words come out. Have you ever felt like that? Maybe during a meeting, maybe while traveling, maybe while talking to someone online. You know the answer, but your brain suddenly becomes silent. That feeling isn't failure. It's simply a lack of speaking practice. The good news is that can change. Starting today, let's try something different. Instead of memorizing words, let's create experiences. Because your brain remembers experiences much better than vocabulary lists. Imagine you're sitting on a train early in the morning. The sun is slowly rising. People are quietly reading books. Someone is drinking coffee. The train moves smoothly through the countryside. A friendly passenger sits beside you. They smile and say, "Beautiful morning, isn't it?" Now don't search for the perfect answer. Simply respond. Maybe you'd say, "It really is." Or, "I've never seen a sunrise like this before." Or even, "I'm glad I woke up early." Notice something. You weren't translating. You were simply reacting. That's exactly how real conversations happen. Nobody plans every sentence. People listen. People react. People continue talking. That's the habit we're building today. Now look around the room where you're sitting. Don't name objects. Describe them. Instead of saying, "chair," say, "This chair is really comfortable." Instead of saying, "window," say, "The sunlight is coming through the window." Instead of saying, "phone," say, "My phone is charging beside me." Can you feel the difference? You're no longer thinking about individual words. You're creating complete thoughts, and complete thoughts become natural conversations. Here's another small challenge. Think about your morning, not yesterday, today. What was the first thing you did after waking up? Did you make coffee? Did you check your phone? Did you go for a walk? Now describe those moments in English. Don't worry if every sentence isn't perfect. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is communication. Every sentence you speak today makes tomorrow's conversation easier. That's how fluency grows. Not in one giant step, but in hundreds of small moments that slowly build confidence. In just a moment, you're going to experience your first real English conversation. No classroom, no textbook, no grammar exercises. Just a real situation that millions of people experience every day. And by the end of it, you'll realize something important. Speaking English naturally is much easier than you've been told. Imagine this. You're standing inside one of the busiest airports in the world. People are walking in every direction. Flight announcements echo through the terminal. Families are excited. Business travelers are checking their phones. Children are running toward the windows to watch the airplanes. Everything around you feels fast, but your mind is calm because today you're ready to speak. You walk toward immigration. The officer smiles politely. Good afternoon. You smile back. Good afternoon. The officer asks, what's the purpose of your visit? Notice something. That's a question you'll hear almost anywhere in the world. At first, it sounds important, but the answer is actually very simple. Maybe you're traveling for vacation. Maybe you're visiting friends. Maybe you're attending a business meeting. Whatever your reason is, say it clearly. Short sentences are powerful. Native speakers don't always use long explanations. They choose simple words, spoken with confidence. The officer nods. How long will you be staying? Again, another simple question. Maybe you're staying for 1 week, maybe 2, maybe a month. There's no need to create complicated sentences. Clear communication is always better than complicated communication. The officer smiles. Enjoy your stay. You answer, thank you. I appreciate it. Just like that, your first conversation is over. Take a second and think about what just happened. A few minutes ago, that situation may have sounded stressful. Now, it feels normal. That's because your brain has already experienced it. Experience creates confidence, not memorization. As you leave immigration, you walk toward baggage claim. People are waiting quietly. A traveler standing next to you looks at the luggage belt and says, I hope our bags arrive soon. You smile. Me too. It was a long flight. The traveler laughs. I haven't slept in almost 12 hours. You reply, I think we're both ready for some coffee. Notice how natural that conversation feels. Nobody is trying to impress anyone. They're simply sharing a moment. That's what everyday English sounds like. Suddenly, your suitcase appears. You grab it and start walking toward the exit. Outside, a taxi driver waves. Taxi? You smile. Yes, please. The driver helps you with your luggage, then asks, where are you headed today? Maybe you've heard that expression before. Where are you headed? It simply means, where are you going? Native speakers love using different expressions for the same idea. That's why listening is just as important as speaking. You answer, I'm going downtown. The driver starts the car. After a few minutes, he looks in the mirror. So, is this your first time here? You smile. Yes, it is. Then he asks, what made you choose this city? That's an interesting question. There isn't one perfect answer. Maybe you always wanted to visit. Maybe someone recommended it. Maybe you've seen pictures online. Whatever your answer is, it's your story. And your own story is always the easiest story to tell. The driver begins talking about his favorite places in the city. He recommends a small cafe, a beautiful park, a local museum. You listen carefully. Then you ask, which place would you visit first if you only had 1 day? Now something important happens. You're no longer answering questions. You're asking them. And that's the moment conversations become real. Many English learners believe speaking means answering correctly. But fluent speakers know something different. Great conversations are built with great questions. People enjoy talking to curious people, not perfect people. As the taxi stops in front of your hotel, the driver turns around and smiles. I hope you enjoy your stay. You answer, thank you. You've been very kind, he smiles. Have a wonderful trip. You step out of the car, look up at the hotel. Take a deep breath. Just a short time ago, you were worried about speaking English. Now you've already completed several real conversations without translating, without memorizing, without trying to sound perfect. And you've probably noticed something. Speaking English isn't about knowing thousands of difficult words. It's about using simple words at the right moment with confidence. But here's where things become even more interesting. Talking to service staff is usually predictable. The next conversation won't be. Because in just a few moments, you're about to meet someone who has no script, no prepared questions, and no idea who you are. That's where real fluency begins. You walk into the hotel lobby. The receptionist welcomes you. You check in, collect your room key. Everything goes smoothly. As you turn toward the elevator, you hear someone say, "Excuse me." You look back. A man about your age smiles. "I think we were on the same flight." Interesting. This conversation wasn't planned, and that's exactly why it's important. Real English rarely follows a script. You smile and answer, "Yes, I think so." He laughs. "What a long flight." You nod. "It really was." Then he asks, "Where are you visiting from?" Tell your real story. Use your own country. Use your own city. Because nobody knows your story better than you do. The conversation continues naturally. "So, what brings you here?" Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're working. Maybe you're simply exploring a new place. Whatever your answer is, keep it simple. Clear English is always stronger than complicated English. A few moments later, the elevator arrives. You both step inside. There's a short silence. Many English learners think silence is a bad thing. It isn't. Silence is natural. Native speakers experience silence too. The difference is, they know how to restart a conversation. The man smiles again. "So, have you planned anything for tomorrow?" Great question. Maybe you answer, "I'm thinking about visiting the city center." Or, "I haven't decided yet." Or, "I'm open to recommendations." Immediately, the conversation becomes interesting again. He smiles. "If you have time, you should definitely visit the Riverwalk." Now you have another opportunity. Instead of only saying, "Thank you," ask another question. "What makes it special?" Or, "What's your favorite place there?" That's how conversations continue. Curiosity keeps conversations alive, not perfect grammar. The elevator reaches your floor. Before leaving, the man says, "It was nice meeting you." You answer, "It was nice meeting you too." Simple, natural, professional. The elevator doors close. You walk toward your room. Then something unexpected happens. You realize that conversation lasted almost 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Without preparing, without translating, without opening a grammar book. Think about that. Just a few years ago, you may have avoided that conversation completely. Today, you enjoyed it. That's progress. And progress isn't always obvious. Sometimes, it's hidden inside small moments. Moments that quietly build your confidence. You enter your room. Place your suitcase near the bed. Walk toward the window. The city looks beautiful. Cars move below. People hurry through the streets. You suddenly realize English isn't something you study anymore. It's becoming something you use. That's the biggest transformation any learner can experience. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that speaking to strangers is sometimes easier than speaking during a job interview? Why? Because interviews feel like tests, and tests create pressure. In the next situation, you're about to discover how fluent speakers stay calm, even when every answer matters. The next morning, you wake up feeling excited. Today is important. Not because you're taking an exam, because you're meeting people who know nothing about you. You get dressed. Take one last look in the mirror. Then quietly tell yourself, "I've prepared for this." You arrive at the office building a few minutes early. The receptionist greets you warmly. "Good morning. How can I help you?" You smile. "Good morning. I'm here for an interview." She checks her computer. "Perfect. Please have a seat. Someone will be with you shortly." You thank her and sit down. As you wait, you notice something. Your heart is beating a little faster. That's normal. Even native speakers feel nervous before interviews. Confidence doesn't mean you never feel nervous. It means you keep speaking anyway. A few moments later, a woman walks toward you. "Hi, I'm Emily. It's nice to meet you." You stand up, shake her hand. "It's a pleasure to meet you." She leads you into a meeting room. You both sit down. She smiles, then asks the question almost everyone expects. "So, tell me about yourself." Most English learners try to create the perfect answer. Fluent speakers do something different. They tell a story. Maybe you begin like this. I've always enjoyed learning new things. Over the past few years, I've focused on improving my skills and challenging myself. One of those challenges has been learning English, because I believe communication opens new opportunities. Simple, honest, memorable. Emily nods. I like that. Then she asks, what's one achievement you're proud of? Think for a moment. Not about the perfect English. Think about your life. Maybe you completed a difficult project. Maybe you learned a new skill. Maybe you helped someone. Maybe you started your own business. Real stories create real connections. Emily smiles again. Everyone has strengths. What would you say is yours? You answer confidently. I'm a quick learner. Or, I stay calm under pressure. Or, I enjoy solving problems. Notice something. There isn't one correct answer. There are only honest answers. The interview continues. What motivates you? Interesting question. Many people answer, money. But maybe your real answer is different. Maybe you enjoy learning. Maybe you enjoy helping people. Maybe you enjoy creating something meaningful. When your answer is genuine, people can hear it. Then Emily asks something unexpected. Tell me about a mistake you've made. For a second, the room feels quiet. But instead of hiding your mistakes, talk about what you learned. Maybe you say, early in my career, I tried to do everything by myself. Eventually, I realized asking for help isn't a weakness. It's part of growing. That's a powerful answer, because growth is something everyone understands. Emily closes her notebook, smiles. I've really enjoyed talking with you today. You smile back. Thank you. I've enjoyed our conversation too. As you leave the room, you don't immediately think, did I answer every question perfectly? Instead, you think, I communicated. And that's what matters. Outside the building, you stop for a moment. The fresh air feels different. You remember the person who was afraid to speak English. That person is slowly disappearing. Not because your vocabulary suddenly became larger, because your confidence became stronger. But here's something fascinating. Professional conversations are one thing. Casual conversations are completely different. They move faster. People interrupt each other. They laugh. They change topics without warning. And that's exactly what you're about to experience next. A conversation between friends where nothing is planned and everything feels natural. The interview is over. You decide to take a walk before heading back to your hotel. The city feels different now, not because it has changed, because you have. You notice a small neighborhood park. Children are playing. People are walking their dogs. Some are reading on benches. Others are simply enjoying the afternoon. You find an empty bench and sit down. A few minutes later, an older gentleman sits beside you. He smiles. Beautiful day, isn't it? You smile back. Before you go, let me ask you one final question. What if I told you that speaking English isn't actually the hardest part? The hardest part is thinking in English without translating. And there's one daily exercise used by interpreters and language experts that can completely rewire the way your brain speaks English. It's surprisingly simple, but almost nobody practices it correctly. That's exactly what we'll explore in our next lesson. Until then, challenge yourself to spend just 30 minutes living in English every single day. I'll see you in the next lesson. It really is. He looks around the park. I come here almost every afternoon. You reply, I can understand why. It's very peaceful. He smiles. I've lived in this city for over 30 years. Interesting. Without realizing it, you're having another conversation. Not because you planned it, because life created the opportunity. He asks, so, what do you think of our city so far? Take your time. Share your opinion. Maybe you say, everyone has been very friendly. Or, I love how many parks there are. Or, the city feels full of energy. Whatever you honestly think, say it. Your opinion matters. The gentleman nods. You know, people remember kindness much longer than perfect English. Think about that sentence. People remember kindness much longer than perfect English. How many times have you worried about one small grammar mistake? while completely forgetting to enjoy the conversation? Probably more times than you can count. The gentleman continues. When I was younger, I traveled to many countries. I couldn't always speak the language, but smiling, being respectful, and showing genuine interest helped me make friends everywhere. That's a lesson worth remembering. Communication isn't only about words, it's also about attitude. A few minutes later, a young woman walking her dog stops nearby. The dog runs toward you, wagging its tail. You smile. What a beautiful dog, she laughs. Thank you. He's friendly with everyone. You ask, how old is he? Almost 4 years. What's his name? Charlie. Simple questions, simple answers, a simple conversation. And yet, you're speaking English naturally. Not because someone told you exactly what to say, because you're curious. Curiosity is one of the greatest language skills you can develop. Curious people never run out of conversations. Before leaving, the woman smiles. It was nice talking with you. You answer, it was nice meeting you too. Have a wonderful day. She waves goodbye. The park becomes quiet again. You sit there for another minute, thinking, not translating, just thinking. Then something amazing happens. You suddenly realize, for the past several minutes, your thoughts have been in English. You didn't force it. It simply happened. That moment is the turning point every English learner dreams about. The moment when English stops feeling like a school subject and starts feeling like a real language. As the sun begins to set, you stand up and start walking back. You think about everything that's happened today. The airport, the taxi, the hotel, the interview, the park. Every conversation taught you something different, but together, they taught you one important lesson. Fluency isn't about knowing every word. Fluency is about trusting yourself enough to keep speaking. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one challenge. Tomorrow, don't spend 30 minutes memorizing vocabulary. Spend 30 minutes living in English. Describe what you see. Talk about what you hear. Ask questions. Answer naturally. Tell your own stories. Because every real conversation brings you one step closer to becoming fluent. And one day, without even realizing it, someone will ask you a question in English, and you'll answer immediately. No translating, no fear, no hesitation, just confidence. If today's practice helped you, make it part of your daily routine. Come back whenever you want to practice. Every session makes you a little stronger. Every conversation makes you a little more confident. And every confident conversation brings you closer to the English speaker you've always wanted to become. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep practicing. Keep speaking. And remember, your journey doesn't end here. In many ways, it's only just beginning.